What's going on, guys? Welcome to another one of Black Iron's battles. Today we have a Total War Warhammer 1 versus 1 quick battle for you, where I am leading the Beastmen army against my opponent, who's using a Dwarven army. Now, I did try to live cast this one for you guys, but it had some technical difficulties, so we'll have to settle for a regular cast. As you'll see here in the front line, we do have some Ungrim Spearmen herd on each side, as well as a mix of Bestigor herd and Gore herd with shields here in the front. Those Bestigor herd, they'll give lots of armor piercing, and they should be able to help crack that Dwarven armor. Here on the left, we do have a Gore bull. So he is super strong. Look at him, he's ready to go. I did strip him down quite a bit, so he's a little bit cheaper than average, but he will still do a bunch of damage. Over here on the left, hiding in the trees, we do have some Centaurs with great weapons. These should be able to be pretty mobile, slam into the Dwarven backlines, and do as much damage as possible. And last but not least, over here on the right, we've got these Razor chariots. These are super cool. Against the Dwarves, they're almost an auto include. They'll just be able to smash through all the lines of the Dwarven units and kill pretty much whatever they want. Hazarak the One-Eye is leading back here on a chariot. And we do have the two groups of Ungor Raiders like I typically bring, as well as a Bray Shaman of Beasts who can summon a Manticore and brought Wizen's Wild form to be able to buff up some of my own units here. Now if you look here at the Dwarves, they do have a front line of cheap Dwarven warrior frontline infantry. These units aren't going to hold up forever, but because they're Dwarves, they'll hold up for quite a long time. They've got 85 armor, they've got shields. I mean, they've got high Dwarven or high leadership, just like all the Dwarven units, and that should give this huge line of Thunderers plenty of time to fire at my units. Here in the back, he does have the Dragonback Slayers, which are super cool. They've got all the goodies. They're unbreakable. I mean, they'll just be able to anchor this back line and hopefully keep these two cannons and this Regiment of Renowned Goblobber safe. You'll see that he has chosen a runesmith here to bolster his lines, and he does have a bunch of the runes chosen, so that should be able to mitigate damage for the units around him. And last but not least, we have Ungrim Iron Fist leading the Dwarven army. He is super cool. He's the Great Axe Infantry. He's got armor piercing. He is just able to knock down any lord pretty much that gets in his. So let's go ahead and get this battle started. Right off the bat, you'll see that I do start taking fire from those ranged units. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to get over here to the left as easily as possible, so that way I can avoid some of that artillery fire that's going to be coming in. And you see some of the rocks do miss here. He has got his cannon shooting at my Centaurs over here, I'm just realizing. So I do want to get these up and around. I'm going to try to get them into the back lines over there as soon as possible. I've also got these Bestigor herd. So he is focus firing. Unlike I had hoped these Gore herd with shields would take the brunt of the range fire. He is focus firing on my heavy units. And oh, you look at that Bestigor herd just get nailed. But luckily, they do have 60 models, so they've still got 13 left. And they're not going to break this early in the battle with some of these lords and units still in the back here. Over here on the left, you'll see that I've started to bring up those Centaurs with great weapons. We'll try to go ahead and crack in the back of this line. Over here on the right, we've got the Razor chariot coming in, and all of these units are starting to engage. So you will see that while these Bestigor and the Gore herds are engaging here in the front line, we're going to bring this Ungor Spearman herd around in the trees, and we're going to bring them in. Oh, look at that charge. They are just able to just smash through a bunch of those units. And you'll see here that we've got the Ungor Spearman herd, which are coming in from the back, and they'll be able to sandwich and do quite a lot of damage to anything that they get in the back here. You'll see also we're still slamming those Razor chariots. Over here on the left, these Dwarf warriors do have a ton of buffs from this runesmith. But if you look, the runesmith doesn't look like he's engaging in the action, and he does have 320 weapon strength, so it would not be a bad idea to have him in here fighting some of these Bestigor herd and some of these other frontline units. And over here on the left, you'll see that we have managed to get these Centaurs involved with these Thunderers. So these Centaurs are just going to do a ton of damage. I'll be trying to cycle charge them. Oh, look at that one just slamming through there. And, you know, hopefully we'll be able to just keep bringing them in and disrupting that back line. Here in the back, oh, look at that Gorbel slam down on those Dragonback Slayers. These Dragonback Slayers are going to be able to do quite a lot of damage to this Gorbel. It's not really the best place to have him, but since he was stripped down in cost, I mean, the amount of stuff that he's disrupting up here is definitely something that I can deal with. We do have these raiders from the back shooting in. I mean, these other group of spearmen here are just trying to get in here. And for the cost, these spearmen on the sides are always a good investment, I feel like. I do need to get these Centaurs with great weapons back involved. But, I mean, I'm feeling real comfortable with where we're at this point in the battle. You'll see that the allied troop count is about 530 to 460. I am getting the balance of power in my side. But you see, Ungrim Ironfist is here fighting my Gorbel. So if he takes down this Gorbel, you know, that's going to be a major hit to my morale. But I do have Khazrak still here in the back, who is just slamming through groups of Thunderers. He's managed to slam through another. They're broken. My enemy does have some units here in the trees that he could maybe bring in. But overall, Ungrim is over here separated. We now have the other units breaking. The Dwarf Warriors are breaking from these charges from Khazrak. We've got this, I mean, everyone is now surrounding Ungrim. And even though he is able to fight, I mean, he does a ton of damage. You see, there he is on his face. Even with Stand Your Ground, I mean, he is just going to start taking hits majorly from all of these different sources. Over here on the left, you'll see that we have continued to engage these Centaurs into these Thunderers. Now, while the Thunderers are very strong for a ranged unit, these Bestigor Herd and Centaurs are going to continue making short work of them. And if you look at the amount of ammo these ranged units have, you'll see that, I mean, they just weren't able to expend a lot of their ammo. You'll see I've got an extra troop here I must have forgotten about over in the trees. But, I mean, Ungrim is just trying to battle it out here. He has brought in the Runesmith and some Dragonback Slayers and some Dwarf Warriors as reinforcements. But hopefully, shortly, we'll be able just to take the head off of Ungrim. And that'll be a win for the Beastmen here. If you look in here, I mean, Ungrim is fighting to the death. He's a beast. But, I mean, if you look, he's just surrounded, and there's just not much more he's going to be able to do for this battle. They're going to retreat from the field. If we go ahead and take a look at this post-battle wrap-up, you'll see that Khazrak did get 75 kills. So against the Dwarves, it's always great to put him on a chariot and just smash him through. I mean, as long as you pay a little bit of attention to him and keep him from getting bogged down and killed in your backline, in the enemy backline, he'll normally more than pay for himself with the kills and just his sheer strength against the Dwarves. Same thing with this Razor Chariot. I probably could have microed it a little bit better, but it was able just to slam through some lines there initially. It was able to, I mean, it takes a lot of their concentration away. It messes up their plans. And I mean, with the Dwarves, you should always just include at least one chariot, maybe two if you're not going to bring Khazrak on a chariot. Additionally, these Bestigor Herd, they're very strong against the Dwarves. You can see by their kill counts here. Even though they were focused by the artillery there in the beginning, the Goblob were getting 117 kills. These Bestigor Herd were easily able to kill a ton of those light Dwarven warrior units. Ungor Raiders were, you know, they were peppering the enemy units the whole time. I was trying to focus fire some Dragback Slayers and different units with these Raiders. Since they were able to fire unimpeded, I mean, they did get a good number of kills for how cheap they are. Overall, you'll see, I mean, it looks like the Gore Herds, they took a lot of health damage. So did the Gorbel, but those units, I mean, they have big health pulls, they have shields. That's exactly what I'm hoping for, is to keep these units that do a lot more damage relatively healthy, and have these cheaper units and the units with high health take a brunt of the damage. Over here on the right, you'll see he did have one group of Dwarf Warriors who had 102 kills. I mean, I think that one was probably on the left, and they were probably fighting some Gore Herd and different things like that. But I mean, you know, you can see largely his ranged units were shut down. The Thunderers 16 apiece, 18 with the cannon. These units definitely could have saved the day had they been a little bit more spread out. But I mean, it's just so hard as the Dwarves still to fight against a mobile army like the Beastmen. So, I mean, great game to my opponent, Narco65. And I want to thank you guys all for watching. Please do subscribe below. It helps me out a lot. It makes me feel good to see the subscriptions. You know, toss some comments down there. Tell me if you'd like me to play anything, if you'd like to see me do anything. I could set up some different battles with the guys, you know, Turin or any of them. We could do some fun theme battles. So just let me know in the comments below. Thank you all for watching. This has been another one of Black Iron's Battles.